All right, so meteoroid. A meteoroid is a small rocky or metallic space object. It just kind of sounds cool, right? It's a space object. Uh, anyway, a lot of people call these things shooting stars because it's kind of what they look like. They look like a streak or a flash of light across the night sky. Now, the meteoroid could actually be pieces of a meteoroid, an asteroid, or even a comet. Right? The shooting stars, kind of all of them. Uh, but a meteoroid itself is actually a rocky or metallic space object. Okay, so a meteorite is something that makes it all the way through the atmosphere and hits the ground. So that's a meteorite. Okay. Once they actually hit the ground, they're usually very small and very heavy, right? They're made up of rock or metal, so of course they're going to be heavy. You can see kind of pictures here in a little, I think that's a dime or a nickel, that might be a nickel. And so how big the pieces actually are. Most of what comes through the atmosphere will burn up. Okay. The composition, again, rocky, iron, nickel, metal, very similar to what we have in the terrestrial planets, i.e. what we have on Earth. There is another type of meteoroid, or meteorite, called carbonaceous. And these actually do contain carbon. These guys are going to be black or gray and not really look spectacular. And we've been able to collect these guys and date them. And they date to about 4.5 billion years old. Essentially the same age as us or moon rocks or basically anything in space, kind of, well, in the solar system, any of the asteroids and whatnot, all date to 4.5 billion years old. So all around the same age. Meteor showers. The news every so often. Oh, make sure you go out and look up the sky at 2 a.m. or 11 p.m. or just before dawn or just after sunset, and you'll be able to see a meteor shower. Well, what are meteor showers? They're basically swarms of meteoroids. So again, rock, metal, even carbon, they travel together kind of in a group. And as you can see in the picture, right, here's the sun, the Earth's orbit, and then the meteor's orbit. And it crosses our orbit a couple of times. Now, most of these meteors that are in these swarms are very small, okay? But because they cross the orbit twice, they're predictable. And so we can tell, okay, on this date this will happen. On this date you can look up and see a meteor shower. Now, the meteor showers are named, and they're named by the constellations. So if it looks like it's coming from a constellation Scorpio, then it's a Scorpion meteor shower. There are meteoroids that are larger than a few centimeters, right? There's some that are fairly big. These guys are mostly from the asteroid belt. And so they're going around in the asteroid belt, minding their own business, and then something knocks them out and sends them flying our way. That's the explanation that scientists have right now. Yeah, something knocks them out. Kind of nice, right? Good to know we have lots of science on our side here. And so you can see cratering, or they hit us. Hopefully they just crater something else, but it's possible. Now there are craters on Earth. They're very few because erosion happens, and so the plains kind of get smoothed out and you don't see the big craters. However, you can see a couple spots where this actually happens. And so here's one, the Behringer crater. Okay. The meteorite they think was 50 meters across and 200,000 tons. They have found 25 tons. Does it Yep, 200,000 tons. They found 25. This one here is actually in Arizona, um, just kind of on the southeast side of the Grand Canyon. And so these are people standing at the edge of the crater. You can see the other side of the crater. The little white spot down there, there's a little building down there. And then if you look at the bottom picture, I really wish I was there to kind of point this out, but you can see kind of this big black shadow looking thing and then a line going into the desert. Right? That is the access road. So that's how big this thing is. That's the access road, and that black little rectangular shadow, that's the visitor center. And I've actually been here. It's a pretty big visitor center and parking lot. You can walk around the crater and look at it, and it's actually really, really cool. We went there. Granted, it was $20 to get in. So you're paying $20 to look at a hole in the ground. When you say it like that, it's not so exciting. But it's a hole in the ground created by a space object that made it through the atmosphere and hit the ground. That's pretty cool, right? I mean, it's worth it if you're along that highway, and trust me, there's signs everywhere. Come see the meteor crater. It's just a little jog down the highway, or off of the highway, I should say, and you get to see a giant meteor crater. And inside the visitor center, they've got pieces of the crater. Not the crater, I'm sorry. Pieces of the meteoroid. It's pretty cool. Or meteorite, I should say, because it hit the ground. So there are craters. You can go see them. Thankfully, we don't have a lot of craters, or else we'd probably all be really scared that something's going to hit us. Now, the larger impacts are rare. However, there are one every 100,000 years or so. This is another incident. It happened in 1908. And I mean, you can see kind of from the old-fashioned pictures there. But there was actually a 30-meter meteoroid. Kind of a meteorite, but not quite, because it never actually hit the ground. It exploded in the ground. Or, it exploded in the air. And you could kind of see the picture artist. I'm not sure what that is. But they claim it was like a 10 megaton nuclear bomb going off in the air. And then in 2013, there was another meteorite that hit the ground in Russia, and I believe I have a video next about that one. And I can't be there to watch the video with you. I wouldn't watch the whole thing. I usually stop it around 5 or 6 minutes because it starts to get repetitive. But in the video, you'll see how bright everything got and how big the shadows were, and then how dark it got when it was hidden. It was like day and night. It's incredible. Now, the one that happened in 2013 that you're going to see the video of, people were hurt. No one was killed. It actually hit somewhere in a desolate area. But people were hurt in the city, and you'll kind of get a feeling for why. Windows were blown out, doors were blown out, people were hurt by shattered glass, and all that fun stuff.
Просто лакокраски нет. Смотри. Нифига. А они-то откуда знают?
А вот мозг неопределенно задачил. Удивил, победил. Как источник информации, мозг показывается мало интересен. Он может рассказать на своем волопюке с моим кривым переводом только про медлабораторию. Что происходило в лагере, не знает. Да и водили его в будке без окошек. Хотя проскакивает намеком, что, видимо, его использовали в акции устрашения. Но развивать эту тему...
Нихуя себе, это что такое? О, нихуя метеорит, блядь.
Внимание,
Ебануться. Нихуя себе. Охуеть. Блядь, это у меня на этом снято должно быть.
Жека, это что такое?
Здорово.
Андрюх, чё? Да не, все нормально, давай. Что, не взорвался?
Он туда куда-то упал.
Упал?
Ага.
Где, вон что? А что это было?
Метеорит.
Самолет? Видишь, вон, ушел.
Капец.
А что он? Не, ну слушай, вон точку, до топлива сгорело, видишь, я походу уебался. Воздух.
Офигеть. Я, если честно, даже не поняла, что это такое. Охереть.